Corbyn is your child.
You mean Corbyn is the product of me, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I think it's the product of the way the world works today, but it's a big challenge for the centre. And when I'm not thinking about the Middle East, I'm thinking about this, because I do think, by the way, it would be a very dangerous experiment for a major Western country to get gripped by this type of populist policy making, left or right.
You said this week that you thought it'd be a terrible risk for the British people to elect an extreme government, and you seem to be talking about Jeremy Corbyn. Do you think that Jeremy Corbyn is a risk, and do you want to see him as Prime Minister?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about Jeremy Corbyn, by the way. I was talking about the general populism that there is in the world today. And
it's just the words Jeremy Corbyn had been in the question, therefore they were associated.
Right, which is which way it goes. But what I was talking about, and this is a whole other interview, but is these insurgent movements of left and right that I think are driven by a great deal of anger and populism that is able to ride that anger, but they don't really provide answers to the problems we face.
Well, let me ask you about Jeremy Corbyn directly. I know that there's a bit of history here, but nonetheless, here is somebody who's honestly trying to create a new economic policy for new times, who is trying to address that anger, who is trying to think of new Labour policies for, not new Labour, but new, Labour policies for the NHS and education and so forth. Shouldn't you just get behind him and not be disloyal?
I'm not being disloyal. I mean, let's wait and see what those policies are. And you know, I don't disrespect him as a person or his views at all. But
could you imagine, in the end, could you imagine telling people to vote Labour when Jeremy Corbyn is still Prime Minister?
Look, I'll always tell people to vote Labour because I'm Labour, so that's just the way I am. But you know, in the end, what is important, particularly in today's world, which is so uncertain and unpredictable, is I understand how these movements are moving politics in an extraordinary way today. And you can see this across the Atlantic, you can see it here, you can see it around the rest of Europe. Personally, I would like to see the centre, and by that I mean the centre-left and the centre-right, get its grip back and its traction back on the political scene, because I honestly do believe that a lot of the solutions to the problems we face today are less about ideology and far more to do with practicality and understanding modernity and the way that the modern world works.